Professional dodge and burn in Lightroom. This is Lightroom for completely beginners, a series of classes where you will learn how to professionally edit your photos in Lightroom Classic 2024 to start making money with portraits or charge more for your services. If you're new here, I am Silvia, specialist in the magazine style of maternity photography. My goal is to help you improve your retouching skills for you to make more money with photos. Now, let's get into the video. Today, we are going to learn this very famous technique, dodge and burn, how to do it in Lightroom. And this technique is something that you will use a lot on Photoshop when you learn Photoshop. Pretty much, dodge and burn is to bring light to a part of your photo or to make it darker. With this technique, you can enhance makeup, the face contour, the body contour. You can give a more 3D look for your photo and bring more volume to her outfit. I'm going to say it is easier to do this in Photoshop, and you have so many tools that you can do that in Photoshop, but you can still somehow work with this technique here in Lightroom as well. In the previous class, we were working with the skin retouch and we were smoothing her skin. And when we do that, we ended up losing a little bit of the highlights and contours of her face. And now her face is a little bit flat. So we wanna bring this lighting that she had on her face back. And the way that we are going to do this is with dodge and burn. And again, we are going to be using masks for this technique. So I'm gonna get close to her face right now. This is great. And I'm gonna go to masking, and for that, I'm gonna be using the brush. I'm just gonna start painting the areas that I wanna make it lighter. I'm also gonna be using a little bit of the light that I can see on her face to make this to be more realistic with the lighting that we were using. So let's just start and you're gonna understand what I mean. Right now, here on her nose, I can see that this part here is a little bit lighter, so I'm gonna intensify that light that is right here. So I'm gonna make a selection right here. And I'm gonna go to my, let me just rename this mask. And this one is going to be our dodge. And right here on the exposure, I'm gonna start playing with the highlights. I'm gonna go up with the highlights. And I think that here's good for us to start. And now I'm gonna go, and I can see that her forehead right here in this part is lighter than the other side because the light was coming from this side here. So I'm just gonna intensify a little bit more of this lighting here. And I'm gonna do this around under her eye as well. I want to kind of try to remove a little bit of the raccoon eye. And another place that I want to do is on her lips and on the top of her lip here. We have some lighting. And on her chin, like right here. And I'm going to try to light it up this area as well, just a touch. And so far, this is our before and after, before and after. We can see that we are starting to get out of that flat face that she had after we did the skin retouch. So we are bringing back the volume of her face. And you can also go up a little bit with the exposure if you think it's not enough. So let's see, before and after. So here's the before, here's the after. Before and after. I think that that looks pretty good for me. Now I'm gonna create another mask. I'm gonna go to brush. I'm gonna start painting where I wanna make it dark areas. So for example, here on her nose, I wanna intensify the difference luminosity between her nose and make this contour to be more intense. And I'm gonna bring down the shadows and see how that works. I think that I want a little bit more, so I'm gonna go down with the exposure as well, just a little bit. And again, I can just readjust this later. This is so I can see what's happening already. I'm gonna paint this part here of her face, and I can tell that this is way too much of adjustment. So I'm gonna go back with the shadows and with the exposure, and let me go down with the shadows again. I think that here's good. Okay, so I'm just gonna finish here on her, under her chin, so to make this double chin less visible, or if you have a double chin in your photo, or if she has a little bit of a lot of skin here, or a little bit like fat chin, you can just make it darker so it's less visible. Another thing that I'm gonna do is to intensify this contour here. Another thing that I'm gonna do as well is to intensify the eyebrow, make it darker, the makeup as well here, and the other side. And I think that this is looking pretty good. So let's see the before and after. So before and after. Now, another thing that I'm gonna do with the Dodge and Burn is actually work on her eye, because I think that her eye is a little bit dark. So I'm now gonna create another mask, and I'm gonna hit brush, and I'm gonna paint where I want it to be lighter. So I'm gonna paint here in the white part, and also on her eye here, but I'm gonna go with a smaller size of a brush. And let me go back with the brush size a little bit bigger in the white part. Okay. Well, let me redo this part. Okay. And now I'm gonna go up with the highlight, see if that's gonna work. Not as much, so I'm gonna work on the exposure, and I'm just gonna go up with the exposure. And I think that this is looking pretty good. I'm gonna go up even a little bit more, and I'm gonna go down with the highlight, because I think that the brightest area here, the white, got too bright, and I don't want that brightness on her white part of her eye. At the same time, I want to make this part of her eye to pop up. So you can create different masks, one mask just for the white part and one mask just for the eyeball, or you can do it combined. If this doesn't work, I'm gonna do it separately. I'm gonna go down with the whites as well. And I think that actually this worked pretty good. So that's the before, here's the after. Here's the before and here's the after. And I think that this works pretty good. So here's the before, and now after with the Dodge and Burn. Before, after. Look at the difference on her face. You can do so much with Lightroom. You just need to understand and know the techniques that you need to apply with the tools that Lightroom has. You can do this better on Photoshop for sure, but with Lightroom, you can already do a really professional photo as well. Another thing that I wanted to think of is that you don't only need to do this on her face, you can do that in the whole body. So I'm just gonna start creating some new masks, and I'm gonna try to do some Dodge and Burn kind of quick here, so we can see the difference that we will make when you do use this technique in the whole photo as well. Okay, now I have done the Dodge and Burn on other parts of her body as well. And here's the before, and here's the after. Before and after. Now you know how to use Dodge and Burn technique to make your photos even more interesting, which will make your photos to stand out more. Click the like button if the video was helpful for you, and stay tuned for the next lessons of this course, especially the next one that's coming right after this one. We are gonna do a recap. I'm gonna teach you extra tips for you to work with the Dodge and Burn using masks, that it is really helpful. It's gonna optimize your time doing this technique, so you need to watch the next video. And by the end of the whole class, you're gonna have photos that stand out way more, and this is really good if you're trying to attract more clients and make more money. Also, subscribe to my channel if you're not yet. New videos come out every week. For now, this is everything. I will see you the next time.